Making decisions, making hard choices is definitely not one of the most fun things for most people. Realizing that you're going to have some big decisions to make as well as some small decisions to make, and you don't want to be stuck in this place of paralysis of not making any decision at all. I know I've been there firsthand of realizing that I needed to make a decision. I needed to make a tough choice, but I had no idea which one was going to be the right one. So what I had to do was take some time apart and really dive into understanding that I wasn't going to be right all the time, that there's these things called opportunity costs that I'm going to dig into a little bit more as well, that basically explains that if I give up one opportunity, what's the cost of giving that particular opportunity up and choosing something different? But you have to be willing to live with these tough choices that you make, regardless if they're right or wrong. Hey everybody, I enjoy having you guys here. I love giving you as much game, as much wisdom as I possibly can. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to click that bell and make sure that you are notified when I make a new post. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. You don't want to be missing out. Your friends are getting this information. Your neighbors are getting this information. Everybody should be able to learn and grow. But let's do this together. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Now I want to deal with the importance of making choices. Now, this is one of the areas that most individuals really struggle in. This is again where that analysis paralysis comes in at. But you have to understand that there's going to be some very small choices that you might be overcomplicating right now, like which movie should I watch? What should I eat at which restaurant? What should I do tonight? Like some of these are very trivial, simple matters that don't take a whole lot of stress or energy to be able to accomplish. But if you are that person that's overcomplicating even these small, minute things, then it's going to be even more challenging for you to take a risk, even more challenging for you to take a big opportunity that literally might be standing right in front of your face right now. But because you have grown into this habit of indecision. Come on, y'all. We got to really talk about this. This indecision stops you from growing. It stops you from making the type of progress that you could be making because you have gotten into the habit of indecision. So it doesn't matter what it is, large or small, you're going to still be going through this whole analysis paralysis thing. So look, I want you to break free from that by really understanding the importance of making decisions. Now, I want to be able to talk about understanding the challenges and indecision. We've all been around that person that could not make a decision and how frustrating it really was to be able to look at them not be able to make this decision. We're like, come on, like just choose something. And I think that where a lot of times we fall short is really understanding why it is so hard. See, this frustration really comes from and lies into you understanding the impact of certain decisions, because you know that if you make a choice that is wrong, again, as I was talking about that opportunity cost, like that this opportunity cost gets major because you're thinking and trying to weigh which one should I choose. You're trying to think, if I go take this risk, what is it going to cost me? Is it going to cost me some time, some energy, some capacity where I could have been using this time for something else and now I got to use it here? You got to understand that. And the bigger the impact, sometimes the harder it is to make a very clear decision. So I want to be able to help you through these steps to be able to get to this next place that you need to be without being in analysis paralysis, without overthinking it, without being so frustrated, without being trapped in indecision. This is your time to grow. This is your time to learn, to get to the next level. We have to understand the value in these challenges, because when you know what these challenges are, then you are able to meet up against them and not be stuck. Let's talk about making decisions within your career, within your business, within your brand. See, you have to understand that tough decision making, indecision, is not only an issue within your personal life, it literally can touch every single point. This is why I want you now to try your best to develop this habit of taking risks. Yep, I said it. Develop the habit of taking risks, because the risk sometimes is, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side, so I'm scared. And I don't know what's going to happen if I stay here, so I'm scared. So you stay in indecision. But I want you now to understand that there are unique, valuable things that you can get just from being able to take a risk, just from being able to make a decision. So when you are looking at your brand growing, looking at your business growing, looking at your career blossoming, you have to understand how important it is to just identify some of the pros and cons of making this particular decision and then just pick one. Just go with it. No more holding back. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Next, we got to really dig into understanding the impact of making bad decisions, understanding the impact of you making a bad decision. Again, let's cover what we've already talked about. When you really dig into taking a risk, when you really dig into departing from indecision and being able to realize that there's going to be some opportunity costs that come into play, you have to also clearly understand that there's going to be some impact from making a bad decision. Does it mean you can't learn from it? Absolutely not, because we all learn from our decisions, whether good or bad. But here's the thing you have to understand. If you have gotten yourself into this habit of making poor decisions on a consistent basis, it might not just be you needing to take another risk. It might mean you need to take a step back and evaluate your process. Evaluate how you're actually delivering and making decisions. Like, what is it about the way that you're thinking? What is it about the way that your behavior continues to exude itself out into the world? What is it about that continues to make you make bad decisions? So if I were you, I would start to lean into personal development. I have a ton of videos talking about personal development. You just literally go through the archive and you'll see them. I want you to really identify how are you thinking on a consistent basis, because on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year, in terms of your decision making, it's going to be highly reflected. So if you are that person that thinks more positively, I guarantee that you'll probably make more smarter, wiser decisions, and you'll look back and say that this was actually a good decision. But one of the reasons that most of us make these bad and poor decisions is the way that we are thinking on a consistent basis, the circle that we have around us. If the group is traditionally making these type of decisions, then what is it that you think that we're going to do? Automatically, we're going to be a product of our environment. So if I were you, I would identify who's around you, how you're thinking, right? What are your daily habits? What are your weekly habits that might be keeping you from success, right? Or how about the fact that some of these individuals around you, they're not growing, so you can't grow either, right? So it's all about your decision making. I want you to identify how you're thinking, start to study your own patterns, right? Very, very important. Start to do some beta testing even on your own thinking. So if you go throughout the whole week, like try to track it and say, okay, you know what? Mondays seem to be the day that I'm super negative, that I'm very pessimistic, like this is probably impacting my thoughts. So I want you to identify those particular areas. Here's some areas that will help you to really understand some of these bad decisions so you can kind of track the patterns. First, you got to recognize the problem. Start by clearly stating what the issue is, and if you don't know it, then you have to do some research on yourself to really find out what these things are. Picture the outcome. What is the outcome that you really desire, that you imagine that you actually want to happen? Next is think about the risk. Consider the potential problems of solving the issue. Consider the potential problems of solving that particular issue. Number 4, think about the risk. Understand the possibility of certain consequences from taking that action. Really understanding, like, what are some of these possibilities that could happen in terms of consequences just by me taking this particular action. Then decide how important the risks are. Evaluate how big the risks are for you. Number 6, set aside time. Allocate time to focus only on finding a solution. You get that? Like, allocate some time. Could be your meditation time, your prayer time, your journaling time, where you are literally just focused on this time of identifying how you need to, finding a solution for this particular problem. Yep, so you're setting aside some time to Literally just focus on trying to find a solution for this problem. Number 7, find the resources that you need. Identify what you need to solve the problem. Like, what is it that I need in order to solve this problem? Number 8, think about different solutions. Brainstorm and consider various options to consider. So you got to think about, number 8 was think about different solutions. You're going to brainstorm and consider various options that you could particularly choose. Number 9, choose a solution. Pick the best option based on what it is that you know, right? Just pick the best option. And this is where you have to break from indecision. So in this particular strategy of these 9 steps that I gave you, you are literally just picking the best solution. You're not overthinking it at this point. You're literally just saying, here's what I got. Here's what I have available. I'm going to do this. The value of reflecting. The value of reflecting. This gives you an opportunity to really think through, what is it that might be the best decision for me at this particular stage. You do not want to fall into analysis paralysis. You do not want to fall into procrastination. Let me just stop and say that I was that person that procrastinated for years, guys. For years, I was procrastinating because I could not make a decision because I didn't know which one was going to be right. But when you take some time just for reflection, you automatically start to come up with some amazing answers to your problems. You automatically begin to be more at peace, more serenity for the situation. And now, because you are looking at it differently, it doesn't impact you the same. Because sometimes we're bringing stress to making a decision, and this is what's making it even harder to actually make that decision. So I want you to see the value in some self-reflection time way before you make that tough decision. Using some writing time, whether you are writing in the journal, using some walking time, whether you're walking in the park around your neighborhood, like incorporating some writing and walking time is extremely important for that self-reflection time that I was just talking about, as well as you making a clear and sound decision. Many times we end up rushing into a decision because we haven't taken the time to really ponder what is going to be the best one at this particular stage of my life. So I want you to lean into this area. This is something that I have incorporated into my own brand and my own life. Whether I'm going to the gym, whether I'm walking around the neighborhood, I am making sure that I'm giving myself time to just breathe some natural air, to just do some self-reflection with walking, to have my journal somewhere close where I'm writing down my thoughts. This helps me to be able to make better decisions. In conclusion, I just want every single one of you guys that are watching this video to understand how valuable it really, really is to make sound decisions. If you are that person that has struggled your entire life with making sound decisions, to make the right decisions, it's understandable. It's understandable. You're not the only one. But I do want you to take some of these steps, some of these instructions, some of this guidance that I gave you today to incorporate it into your own life, your own brand, because sometimes making a good decision, sometimes making a bad decisions is literally the thing that could keep us from being more successful. It might be the reason that we are less successful in this particular stage of our lives. So I want you to go out there and do everything that you can to start implementing some of these strategies that I gave you today to start making better decisions. I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Peace.